The Bridge, a beautiful and heartwarming story. This is a true story of two brothers who lived in London for many years. They lived in separate houses that were adjacent to each other. They had their own homes, their own business interests. However, they lived like one family. They had their meals together very often, socialized, traveled, celebrated together, and were one family unit. In fact, they were a role model family. Both the brothers decided one day that they were getting older. They have been extremely successful and are financially well settled. They said, let us move away from the hustle bustle of city life to a quieter life in the countryside. They moved to Luton and bought a huge house surrounded by acres of lands, again adjacent to each other. And here too life went on smoothly. They looked after their respective lands, had picnics, barbecues, etc. Life was beautiful and ideal. Until one day, they had a silly argument. That argument was so blown out of proportion that they didn't want to see each other's faces. Not only did they stop talking to each other, they dragged their respective families into it and warned their families to stay away from each other. This hurt both the families immensely. The two brothers, over a silly argument, spoiled two families and their own peace of mind. But it happens. Everyone's gone through it at some point in time. The younger brother went to the extent of making a fence between the two houses to ensure they didn't even see each other by mistake and totally disconnect from each other. Life went on as it always does. Both were unhappy, carrying anger, resentment, and hatred. Their families tried to reason with the brothers, but both the brothers held their ground, being stubborn and egoistic. One day, a carpenter knocked the elder brother's door. He was an elderly man. He asked the brother, I am a very skilled carpenter and in need of work. Can you give me something to make or repair for you? The older brother said, I really don't have anything that needs to be made or mended. As he was seeing this, his eyes fell on the fence his younger brother had erected. He thought, wait, let me make a fence even taller than that of my brother, so that we can't even view any of his property, his family, or even him. So he told the carpenter to build such a fence. The carpenter quietly agreed, taking his tools, went to start his task. A few days later, when the older brother went to check how the fence was coming along, to his complete amazement, he saw no fence, but a bridge instead, which was now almost complete. He yelled to the carpenter, who asked you to build a bridge? I clearly instructed you to build a tall fence, taller than my brother's. Now break this bridge, he told the carpenter. I do not want to see it here. And make the fence as I instructed, old man. Coincidentally, at the same time, the younger brother was strolling on his property and saw the bridge and was astounded. He thought, maybe this was the signal from his older brother, forgiving him and wanting to patch up. He had missed his brother. In a flash of a moment, he ran across the bridge and came and embraced his brother, asking for forgiveness. The older brother was stunned and didn't know how to react. His younger brother apologized to him and said, after all I did and said, you still reached out to me. I have been so lost and miserable without you. The two families finally reunited.